Hi everyone, I'm Nir Zuk, founder and chief technology officer of Palo Alto Networks. And today I want to talk about the data center and the WAN that are going through transformation and what it means for network security. Of course, the transformation I'm talking about is all related to the move to the cloud. Applications are leaving the traditional data center, moving to SaaS, moving to public cloud. Some of them stay. Even the traditional data center is transforming into becoming a private cloud. And all of that, of course, means new things for securing the data center itself. And all of that, of course, means that the way we access the data center, whether from a branch office, from a mobile device, or a partner accessing the data center has to change, because it doesn't make sense anymore to backhaul all the traffic into the traditional data center. We want to have direct access into SaaS applications and into public cloud deployed applications. And all these changes are, of course, affecting the way we do network security. Let's start with some history about how our network security infrastructure has evolved over the last, 25 years. Since I built the first firewall at Checkpoint. It used to be simple. We had a very small number of offices, a headquarters office, maybe a couple of more offices, data center, which used to be on premise right behind the firewall and later moved into a co-located facility, and the internet and life were easy. Building and network security stacks was easy. And then we started throwing more and more complexities into it, right? So we wanted mobile users to be able to access applications. So we gave them VPN clients, and they went to the data center through a secure solution. Sometimes we used split tunneling with an unsecure solution connection into the internet. And sometimes we would use a web proxy in order to facilitate that. And the goal here was access applications in the data center and access internet for web browsing or whatever to the internet. And then we added branch offices that needed to access the data center and the campus, and then partners needed to access applications. And it wasn't complex enough, probably, that then we decided to start moving applications out of the data center. So we moved applications into the public cloud, we moved applications to SaaS, and now we need to have branch offices, of course, our headquarter campus, our partners, and our mobile users access SaaS applications and access public cloud applications. And it's all becoming very, very complicated. You know that our industry has the tendency to come up with new solutions for every challenge. And this is how it looks. We think there is a better way. We think that now that applications are moving to the public cloud and to SaaS and are forcing a transformation of the wide area network, they're forcing us to change the way we do network security inside the data center. There is an opportunity, given that everybody has to change things, rather than asking customers to deploy 3 new solutions on top of what they have already, to combine all of these into a single solution, into a single platform. And that's really what this presentation today is about. So let's start with introducing our platform that does that. We have a network security platform called Strata, which is a single platform, a single management, and of course, we'll see more details in a second, that connects all different users, whether they are mobile, whether they're sitting in the headquarters, in a branch, whether it's a user from a partner organization, into our data center applications, into our public cloud applications, into our SaaS applications, and into the general internet to access someone else's applications, whether these are enterprise applications or whether these are, of course, consumer applications. It's providing consistent security across all use cases. We'll talk about some of these use cases, but its consistency, of course, is maintained across all use cases. It's integrated, it's a single platform, and all the components of the platform are best in class. Before talking about the Strata network security platform itself, I would like to spend a few minutes to talk about the main component, the main ingredient of the Strata Network Security Platform, which is our next generation firewall. I want to show you what's unique about that basic building block, the next generation firewall, and why it is the most appropriate next generation firewall in the market to be the basis of a network security platform like Strata. And there are 4 things that are unique to our next generation firewall. The first one is that we safely enable all applications. And the best way to describe what that means is through an example. Take a PowerPoint presentation that has a well-known exploit in it, meaning it's an exploit of a well-known vulnerability. The exploit itself is well-known, meaning that we and all our competitors would have an IPS signature to detect that exploit. Bring that PowerPoint presentation into your organization through your network security stack through traditional SMTP email. We and all our competitors are going to scan that, and hopefully all our competitors have a signature for it. So we're all going to tell you, you have a problem, and maybe even be able to stop it if we're running in IPS versus IDS mode. Now take the same PowerPoint presentation and bring it in via Office 365, meaning put it in an Office 365 as an Office 365 file on OneDrive or attached to an Office 365 email, which also end up in OneDrive, and try to access that. None of our competitors is going to scan that file, and none of our competitors is, of course, going to tell you that you have a problem. We built our next generation firewall in such a way that at a very low level, we don't use stateful inspection. We are stateful, but don't use stateful inspection. Instead, at the very low level, we understand applications. We identify the applications. We understand the content of the application. We understand the structure of the traffic, and we're able to extract important information from the traffic, such as files, URLs, domain names, and a few other things, regardless of what the application is, which means that everything else that we do, like looking for exploits, looking for malware, looking for data leakage, everything else that we do doesn't care what the application was, whether the PowerPoint presentation came in via SMTP, or whether it came in from Office 365, or from G Suite, or from Dropbox, or from GitHub. It doesn't matter. It's going to get scanned exactly the same way. And that's something that is very unique to Palo Alto Networks, even today, 12 and a half years after we took over the network security market. Our competitors' response has been a UTM module or a UTM blade that identifies applications and stops them. Meaning, if you're worried about the PowerPoint presentation coming in from Office 365 not being scanned, then our competitors' solutions is block that file or block Office 365, don't use Office 365. Of course, that's unacceptable. And there are really 3 options in the market today. The first option is you do what our competitors say, which is you use their firewalls to block access to Office 365 and G Suite and GitHub and so on. The second option, which is the most popular option, is you stick your head deep in the ground. You completely ignore these applications. You spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on our competitors' products. And the good news is that you're not even going to know that you've been breached because they don't give you enough visibility into what's going on in these applications. When you don't know about something, you can feel great about it until you find your source code or your intellectual property somewhere else. You don't know you have a problem. So second option, stick your head in the ground, only secure web traffic, basic email browsing, and ignore the rest. And option number 3 is to use Palo Alto Networks. There is no fourth option in the industry today. So that's one unique thing about the basic building block of the Strata network security platform. It's the ability to secure all applications, to safely enable your end users to use all applications and secure all applications the same way. The second unique thing about our firewall is that it takes network security and transform it from something that's running on-premise, whether as separate devices or as multiple modules inside the firewall, inside the UTM or blade architecture firewall, and transforms that into SaaS. Meaning our customers, when they run sandboxing, it's a service we call Wildfire, that service is actually running in the cloud. They don't run the sandbox on-premise. The sandbox is running in the cloud. DLP, which we've announced, it's not delivered yet on all the different platforms, it will be soon, is delivered from the cloud. Our URL filtering is delivered from the cloud. Our behavior analytics is delivered from the cloud. Everything that we do in network security, we deliver from the cloud. Maybe another example is IoT security, which we announced and is coming out soon. Same thing, you don't have to deploy anything on premise in order to do IoT security. We deliver it from the cloud. And of course, when you deliver from the cloud, when you deliver cybersecurity from the cloud, rather than in software running on premise, whether in separate or in one UTM device, you get many advantages. The first one is performance. Because the brain is in the cloud, you can get constant performance no matter what you try to do with the firewall, with the next generation firewall. The second one is that you get herd immunity, right? We have all our customers being secure in one place, and we can learn from one customer about how to secure another customer. Of course, all of that is done automatically. The third one is you can deploy cybersecurity very quickly. If you don't have any IoT security today and tomorrow morning you need IoT security because you realize that you have a lot of IoTs in your organizations like TVs and cameras and phones and I don't know, refrigerators. And I've seen in a hospital chain, visited a hospital chain a couple of months ago, they found out with our software that they have hand sanitizer dispensers connected to the network for monitoring level. There's the level of hand sanitizer left in them. We know about the example of Las Vegas casino that was hacked through an aquarium that was connected to the internet. So if you want to secure any of these, all you have to do is turn on the switch and it works. So it's very easy to deploy new cybersecurity functionality. You don't have to deploy any software. And as part of that, you know that cybersecurity software that doesn't get updated frequently is not going to be able to deal with all the new techniques from the adversary side. We update our software regularly, about once a week at least, and you don't have to worry about that. You don't have, we cannot expect our customers to update software running on premise once a week or multiple times a week in order to stay up to date with what the adversaries are doing. When you deliver cybersecurity as SaaS, when you deliver the function as SaaS, of course, it works much better. And we're able to do the upgrades ourselves. You don't have to worry about it. You always get the latest, greatest functionality from the software. The third unique thing about the firewall, remember, so far we talked about our firewall securing all applications and us delivering network security as SaaS on top of the firewall. The third thing is automation. Automation is becoming more and more important for organizations. Everybody has the feeling that they cannot keep up with all the changes. Automation is being driven, of course, by the move to cloud architectures, whether it's private cloud or public cloud. Things change so quickly with the cloud that you need to make changes to your security very, very quickly. We've built our firewall around an XML database and an XML API that is fully open, documented, and supported by our support organization. And so everything that the firewall can do, everything that we can do with our network security platform, you can do through these APIs. And in reality, our CLI, our web UI, our central management system called Panorama, they all use the same XML database and the same API so that everything is synchronized all the time. Like, for example, you can go through the API and make a change and immediately see it in the central management system. Or of course, you can do it through the CLI and so on. This is very different than our competitors. Some of our competitors have CLI. CLI is not a great way to do automation, just doesn't scale and doesn't work very well. And if it's not using a commit model, you can keep, you can end up with your network security device being in limbo state because your automation started making changes. One of them failed. You don't know where it failed because it was all automated. Doesn't work. And of course, some of our competitors don't even have a CLI. It's all central management, and there's really no way to automate. We automate again. I'll give you a couple of examples on top of what's written here on this slide. Once you move to a cloud architecture, whether it's private cloud or public cloud, you find out that your orchestration tool, the orchestration tool that manages the cloud deployment, is automatically bringing up and bringing down workloads because of the need to scale up or scale down capacity. So let's say you're running a database, and right now you have 10 workloads, so there's probably a firewall policy that allows the right access into those 10 workloads for the right people in the right circumstances. Now that you bring up 5 more because you need more capacity, someone has to go to the firewall and change the rule that allows the access to those database workloads, which for most of our organizations, that's a manual process, and it can take a week to go through a change control process. So it will take a week, not a second, to get the extra database capacity that you need. Our firewall will integrate with all these different orchestration tools, and within microseconds or milliseconds of a new workload coming up, our security policies will be adjusted automatically. You don't have to touch it. Another example is Friday. The Friday is when Microsoft releases the list of IP addresses for Office 365 for the next week or so. Some of our customers would go, or at least used to go, to Microsoft, get this list of IP addresses, update the policy, push a new policy, which is not the best thing to do on a Friday afternoon. Our customers that decided to use automation are doing that automatically today. And within a few seconds of that list being published, all the firewalls are up to date. No need to push a new policy. And of course, there are many examples like that. If you use a SOAR, security orchestration, automation, and response, you will find out, and the different SOAR vendors will tell you that our firewalls are the easiest to automate and are most capable when it comes to automation. So automation that is becoming more and more important is another very important differentiator of our firewalls, on top of securing all applications and delivering security functionality as a service versus as software deployed on premise. And the last point I would like to make is that everything that we do is running across different form factors. It runs across a hardware form factor from small to a terabit platform. It runs on our VM series, which is a software form factor of the hardware that's been heavily modified to run in public and private clouds. With a focus on performance, we can run at 10 gigabit per second on a standard public cloud platform with all things enabled, because they don't really run there, right? They run in the cloud as a SaaS service, but also in terms of being able to be deployed and undeployed by public cloud tools, automation tools, as well as the orchestration tools of the public and the private cloud. And the same functionality with all these subscription services are also available with the cloud delivered platform, where we run the firewalls for you. You just push policies, you bring the traffic to us. I'll talk about that use case in a second. So no matter which form factor you choose, you get all these different subscription services. All these subscription services are best of breed. And what I mean by that is, for example, when there is an IPS deal out there, right? So there's an organization out there that's looking for a new IPS. It's not a firewall deal, it's an IPS deal. The vendors that show up are the IPS vendors, meaning you're going to see Palo Alto Networks show up with our IPS, which is part of the threat prevention, the TP platform. And you're going to see the other IPS vendors showing up, meaning Cisco with their IPS, and sometimes McAfee will show up with their IPS. You don't see our other firewall competitors. You don't see Cisco showing up with the IPS that's in their firewalls. You don't see the other firewall vendors showing up to that deal, because they know they have no chance of winning standalone IPS deals. And in many cases, we win that deal. We have the best of breed firewall. The same is true for URL filtering. If there is a URL filtering, content filtering deal, you don't see any of our firewall competitors show up. You see the traditional web filtering, URL filtering vendors show up, and in many cases, we win against them. When there is a sandbox deal, you don't see our firewall competitors show up, because they know that their sandbox cannot win on the merits of the sandbox itself. You see other sandbox vendors like FireEye showing up, and so on. So we have best of breed security components in each category, and they all run on top of any form factor that you choose, whether it's hardware, software, or cloud delivered. So these are the building blocks for the Strata network security platform, right? The next generation firewall in different form factors, and they're unique in being able to secure all applications. They're unique in turning cybersecurity into a set of subscription services, SaaS delivered services. They're unique in our ability to automate things using whatever form factor you choose for different locations. And we are unique in that we're able to provide all these different three form factors. Nobody else offers those three form factors, and something not in a way that is deployable. Okay, so now that we understand the main component of the Strata network security platform, let's talk about specific use cases that we see our customers using the Strata platform for. The first one is data center transformation. Like I said, data centers are transforming, they're moving to the cloud. Some of them are moving to SaaS. We're not going to talk about it in this use case. Some of them are moving to public cloud. Some of them are becoming private cloud. And we're moving from a world where all you needed is a big firewall in front of the data center, probably with multiple VLANs inside a data center connected to it for segmentations, maybe another layer of physical firewalls to create some segmentation down the stack to the distribution layer in the physical data center. We're moving to a world where we need to provide the same security in public clouds, and we need to provide the same segmentation in software form factors in a world where we have VMs that don't always even communicate on those VLANs. And even more, we have containers, such as Kubernetes-based containers running in the data center. And we need to provide the same functionality in public cloud data centers. We need to provide the same functionality for VMs and containers that today we provide in physical data centers with physical devices. And the Strata network security platform is a great solution for that. The components that you would use, you would still use the physical firewall in front of your physical data centers. You might use it for some segmentation use cases inside the data center, maybe at the distribution layer, maybe no, depending on how it looks. But then when you go down the stack in the data center, then the segmentation now becomes VM series based, and they're all the same, right? It's the same functionality, all the great things that I talked about before, like being able to secure all applications and being able to provide all different functions as a SaaS delivered service, are delivered through the VM series, are delivered through the physical firewall. Use one management system, which we call Panorama, to manage all of that. You push the same policy everywhere, just that the form factor depends on where it's being deployed. Of course, our VM firewalls are controlled, of course, through automation tools, so you don't actually have to go and deploy them. If you have standard templates for deploying VPCs or deploying workloads, you just add those to those standard templates and they get deployed. And same functionality across physical, public cloud data centers, and no matter where you sit in the stack, at the edge of the data center, at the distribution layer, and at lower layers as well. So that's one great use case for using the Strata network security platform. And another use case is WAN transformation. I said in the beginning, I'll say it again, our WAN is transforming because we don't want to continue to bring all traffic to the traditional data center and have our internet breakout be there when a lot of our applications are sitting in the internet versus sitting in the traditional data center. Our industry is coming up with a lot of different solutions for different use cases. SD-WAN for the branch office use case. The branch office needs to access the internet, use SD-WAN, a cloud-based proxy for mobile users that want to use the internet, and the jury is still out as to what we're going to do with partners that want to access our applications that sit on the internet. The Strata network security platform, through a solution called Prisma Access, is able to bring all these together into a single platform. So we take the three existing use cases that most of our customers have today, which is branch office access to traditional data centers, data center applications, mobile user to traditional data center applications, partner to traditional to traditional data center applications, as well as the three use cases of branch, mobile, partner trying to access cloud applications, SaaS and public cloud applications, and combine them into a single solution. Now, if you deployed already an SD-WAN solution, you probably know that when you deploy an SD-WAN, you have the first mile. I mean, you can try to deploy SD-WAN all the way from the branch to the applications. Of course, that doesn't work really well. Usually you deploy hubs, right? So you have the first mile from the branch office to the hub, and then you use hubs to build your own private infrastructure, and then you have the last mile from the hub to where the application is, whether it's in the internet, in traditional data centers, in SaaS, or in public cloud. You can do it yourself with our solutions, meaning we have SD-WAN running inside our physical firewalls, in our virtual firewalls, which you can deploy in the branch. That way you also get branch security on top of SD-WAN, and then you can use our firewalls with SD-WAN embedded in them to build the middle mile or the hubs, and then you connect the hubs using IPsec or using private networks, it's up to you. And then from there you go to the last mile, and that works really well. When you do that, you get the best security money can buy from Palo Alto Networks with all the greatness that I talked about before. You use the same platform for both the branches and for your hubs. You use an embedded SD-WAN solution, so it works really well. It works across physical form factors, virtual form factors. The Strata network security platform is the only component you need in order to achieve that. We think there's a better way to do that, or at least mix and match with something that's better, and that's Prisma Access. So what's Prisma Access? Prisma Access is a worldwide private network, meaning once we get a packet into that network, it's all on private infrastructure. It does not depend on the internet for anything. Specifically, we're using Google's premium network. Google has two networks, standard network and a premium network. We are one of the few that are using the premium network. It's a worldwide network. We have our full next generation firewall capabilities deployed on a single tenant basis inside that network. Single tenant meaning one tenant cannot really affect another. It connects to all the different subscription services I talked about before. It has the advantage of being able to be controlled through an API if you wanted to, so it lends itself to automation. Of course, it secures all application. You get all the greatness of our next generation firewall. It's just that you don't have to deploy it, you don't have to run it. We deploy it, we run it for you. It auto scales up and down based on needs. And the only thing you do is you push policies to it from Panorama, the same policies you would have pushed to a physical firewall or to a virtual firewall. So that's Prisma Access, worldwide network. It offers, of course, SLAs around the delivery of packets. The SLAs are in the low tens of milliseconds, meaning once we get a packet within 10 milliseconds or a very low number like that, we will inspect it, full inspection to our next generation firewall, and deliver it to your SaaS application, your public cloud application, or to the last mile in front of your data center applications or to the internet. And how do you give us a packet? You can give us a packet using anything you can think about. You can give us a packet using site-to-site IPsec, if from either our products running in a branch office or at a partner or someone else's IPsec capable device running in your branch office or in someone else's like a partner office. You can give us packets using SD-WAN. You can use our SD-WAN to deliver packets to Prisma Access, or you can use someone else's SD-WAN to deliver packets to Prisma Access. You can use our VPN client, which runs on Windows, Mac, Linux, Apple iOS, Android, and Chrome OS to deliver packets to Prisma Access, and we use IPsec with a failover to SSL when you do that. And in some cases, especially in partner use case, we support SSL VPN or clientless VPN, where all you do is you just provide them a web browser and they use that. That connection, the IPsec connection, the SD-WAN connection, the VPN client connection, the serverless, the clientless VPN connection can be done to one of the more than 100 POPs we have around the world. So more than 100 POPs around the world. Once we get a packet there, the packet is on a private network and it's delivery to a SaaS application that we peer with, or public cloud that we peer with, or to the last mile in front of your data center, the internet, or some application that we cannot deal with today. All of that is done under SLAs that are very, very good and very similar to what you get from MPLS. And all of that is a single platform. You can mix and match. You can use our physical firewalls, our virtual firewalls in the branch. You can use someone else's IPsec or SD-WAN solution in the branch. You can mix and match in the middle mile. You can have some of the middle mile be based on Prisma access in places where you want to augment it with equipment that's closer to your users. You can use the physical firewall or virtual firewall with SD-WAN or with IPsec and connect Prisma access to the physical or the virtual firewalls in the middle mile. And then of course, in the last mile, in your data centers, in your public cloud deployments, you use the same firewall to secure the data center. All of that is managed with a single policy, single management system called Panorama. So these are just two use cases. There are more use cases. If you have any questions about these use cases or other use cases, please reach out to your Palo Alto Network sales team, and they'll be more than happy, and I'll be more than happy to bring me over to have me join the conversation, and we can go deeper into details. And if we need, we can bring in product managers and engineering managers to go into the nitty-gritty details of these use cases and other use cases you might be looking at. So thank you very much for listening. I'd like to reiterate that the Strata Network Security platform is the only platform that is based, number one, on a next generation firewall that can secure all applications. It's the only platform that can consume all network security functions as SaaS. It's the only network security platform that lends itself to automation. And it's the only network security platform that can secure physical, virtual in a VM form factor, and of course, cloud delivered. It works the same across all use cases in a consistent, integrated, and of course, everything that we do is best in class and will win head to head against any solution in the market, whether it's an integrated solution or a dedicated solution for a specific use case. And it allows you to connect your campus, your branches, your mobile users, your partners into wherever your applications are running, whether it's public cloud, private data centers, SaaS, or on the internet in a one consistent, secure, integrated, and best-in-class way. Thank you very much for listening, and hope to see you in person and not out of my home office soon. Good luck.